morning everyone. Today let's see a new poem which describes that we should save everything for the need of future. Not only we should live our present, we should always have a near eye to the future thoughts. That's what this poem is described. Before entering into the poem, let's see a few things about poem. This poem is taken or adapted from Aesop's Fables. It is a fable. It is a bunch of fables written. From there, a part of a poem is taken from Aesop's Fables. Poetry is nothing but poetry is a Greek word which means to make or create. Poetry is a Greek word which means to make or to create. A poet is a maker. The one who makes a poem is called poet. So poet is a maker. A poet who makes many poems, something that is made or created. That is what to make. That's why we call poetry as to make. That is what a Greek word represents. So a poet who makes a poem that should be creative one, and it should lead someone to learn something through his or her poem. Then poem is nothing but a musical quality which has rhythm, pitch and meter. Rhythm is nothing but especially if you would have heard about rhythm and music thing, because we'll have rhythms and that up and to and fro motion of lyrics and up and low voice of the singer who sings. Likewise, for each and every poem there is a particular or a specific characteristics of writing poems. Whenever you write a poem, you cannot write it as just like that. You need few corrections and you should have few particular rules to be followed while writing poems. That is what a poem has many figures of speech like personification, anaphora, enjambment, alliteration, personification, oxymoron. Like that, we'll have many figures of speech and we'll have rhyming words and we'll have rhyme scheme, many things to write a poem. We cannot write poem as we wish, mentioning many lyrics and mentioning many words. It needs an up and down, and it should need a proper rhyme scheme or rhyming word. There is another figures of speech, blank verse. In blank verse, we can write poem not under the rules and regulations. It can be followed in a different form. So these are the categories we have for poetic form. Let's shortly recap. The poem name is The Ant and the Cricket. It has taken or it has adopted from Aesop's Fables. Before entering into the poem, we want to know what is a poetry. Poetry is a Greek word which means to make. And a poet is a maker here, because a one who makes a poem is called a poet. A poet who makes many poems, he should create something new and it should be adopted by everybody. And finally, a poem should have a musical quality which contains pitch, rhythm and meter. Now let's get into the poem. This poem deals about ant and the cricket, as I told you already. We have so many things to describe about an ant and the cricket. We know that ants are a very active insects that always be very active in all the times, even in a daytime or in a night time. But cricket is also a small insect that is very, very lazy. So these two characters are portrayed, and what they did in their life, that is what described. See, first they describe about season times. Then in the first, during the summer season, ant worked all day long, working very hard, and it saved everything for the future purpose. But the cricket, being very lazy, he simply jumped over the flowers and just eating and enjoying whatever he gets. So these two characters are portrayed in opposite manner, and which enjoyed as well as it had a very, very serious eye over the future. So it saved for the future also. But as the cricket, it just simply jumps up and down and enjoyed. But he did not save anything. The first stanza of the poem described about the cricket's nature and what it did. First, the cricket was enjoying all day, even in the daytime and in the night time, and all over the day, wherever it gone. It just ate whatever it got and it simply enjoyed all over. But it did not save anything for the future purpose. When the winter arrived, there was a full of snow on the leaves, and he could not see any flowers nor leaves on the plant. So he don't had any food to eat. As well as if you take ant, the second stanza describes about ant. Being ant, a very small creature, it actively participated all day long, all over, everywhere, and it ate whatever it got, and it also saved some little food for the future purpose also. So when the winter arrived, as the cricket does not have anything to eat, the cricket suddenly came and asked to give grains to eat for its own. The cricket also proposed that it will lend him back when everything goes normal. The ant said, "We are friends, we can give, nor we can lend, nor borrow, anything we can do. But what did you do all these days without saving anything for your future purpose?" The ant questioned the cricket. The cricket heard it, he just carelessly, recklessly, he answered that, "I was just jumping all over the places and I was just enjoying myself and dancing everywhere," the cricket answered. When ants heard it, he got very much angry. He is ready to give, but what he felt is he must realize what kind of circumstances he's going through, and he wanted to know. He just said, "Please step out of my home." He immediately closed the door. This was happened all over the home. But the main thing is, okay, he did not save anything, but he should have thought of saving it. At least he did not thought of it. He should have asked very politely to the ant. He did not do anything. So the ant got angry and he did not do. And being a very small creature also, it saved many things for the future purpose. That is what, in this poem, we have two figures of speech, specially marking over the very clean repetition on ants. First one is personification. Personification is nothing but comparing human characters with animal. That is nothing but here ant and the cricket. Ant and the cricket are the main characters of the story that are compared with human beings. What is compared here? Here nothing is compared, right? They are just describing about what ant did and what cricket did. So that is what described. Why we are calling it as personification? If we generally take, there is a behind moral in the poem. What does that mean? It means that we as a human being, we should always have a foresight towards the future. If, for example, if I'm earning 5,000 per month, I cannot spend all the 5,000 on my costumes or for my makeup purpose or for my day-to-day routines like that. I should save 10 to 20, or I should save 1,000 rupees in the minimum amount for my future purpose. If suddenly anything happens, it may be anything, a medical expenditure or a bike expenditure, or someone is very poor, we want to afford them something. So it can be any issues. We don't know what tomorrow brings, right? Tomorrow is uncertain always. We cannot predict our future, so we don't know what will happen in the future. Suddenly, even we all knew we are in a circumstance now where everything is completely locked up and we are sitting in a particular place. Our parents are suffering a lot in this critical crisis, right? We don't have proper food to eat, and many are suffering because of money issues, and people cannot go out for work, and many are suffering because of this corona. So we are facing this. If we should have a very keen or very clear concentration about our future, so that we will not suffer like this in the upcoming years also. That is what portrayed. The cricket simply danced and came out very joyfully, did not save anything for its future purpose. But ant, it also enjoyed, but not as like as cricket. It also enjoyed and it also saved the future. So now it is sitting under a shelter and it is having his own food for eating. But cricket, as it enjoyed, he does not have food to eat now also. Like that, we humans should also prevent us from everything around us. We don't know what will happen tomorrow, so we should save everything for the future purpose also. That is what comparing human characters with animals. As the ant and the cricket lesson shows, the human should also have a foresight towards the future and should start soon. Next one is metaphor. Metaphor is nothing but comparison of two things. Here in the poetic lines, some crickets have 4 legs, some have 2. The cricket is a small insect, we know. In that, what it described as some insects have 4 legs and some have 2 legs. That is what comparison of two things. An insect is compared with another cricket. That is what given here, comparison of two things, metaphor. So I repeated, personification, comparison of human with animals. Why? Because we are saying is ant and the cricket, as cricket does not save anything for the future, we humans should save something for the future, for something for the upcoming years. That is what personification. The second one is metaphor, comparison of two things. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. Let's see this. Then followed by this, we have a theme of the lesson. and we have few synonyms that we should remind. Let's see that now. As we have seen personification and metaphor before, we have alliteration also here. Alliteration is nothing but when the weather was warm. That is what the sentence quoted here. When the weather was warm. Alliteration is nothing but a sound, right? Repetition of letters. For example, that we have seen already, alliteration already. That's why I have not mentioned here. Whether and whether is a homophones here represented. Whether W-H-E-T-H-E or whether W-E-A-T-H-E-R weather. The first one W-H-E-T-H-E-R weather is nothing but this or that is portrayed. Here it represents W-E-A-T-H-E-R weather, the weather condition. How was the weather condition? So when the weather was on, when weather was, all comes under the same category. So we call it as alliteration. That. Next, let's move to the few synonyms over in the lesson. These are the new synonyms that you would not be knowing earlier. Gay is a happy. Here gay represents nothing but a cricket which enjoyed throughout the day and night, but now it is suffering. Gay, happily dancing here and there. That is what described in the first stanza. Next, dripping, falling in drops. The water droplets that are falling outside, it is represented as dripping, falling in drops. Then the second one, trembling. Trembling is shivering or shaking. As the weather is very cold outside, the cricket doesn't know what to do and it is shaking because of the cold weather. Then lay by is nothing but store. As the ant stored its grains, but the cricket does not store for its future purpose. Lay by is nothing but store. Quoth is nothing but said. Whatever I said is right. Like that. Quoth is said. When the ant asked the cricket, what were you doing in all these days? He just said that, he just quote, I was just dancing and hopping everywhere. So I repeat it again. Gay is happy, dripping, falling in drops, trembling, shivering or shaking, lay by, store, quote, said. Followed by these, we have a theme of the poem. Theme of the poem, we have two props particularly for this particular poem. Let's see that now. I've seen figures of speech and the concept of the story, followed by the poem, what is poem and all. We have few. Before that, I wanted to tell you this poem, as I told you, it is taken from Aesop's fable, right? Fable is nothing but it is a short story which is compared or it is portrayed using animal characters. That is what we call it as fable. Fable is also a small tale, also we can tell. Okay, then these two are the main themes of the poem. First one is hard work versus laziness. Versus is nothing but versus. We usually would have known the boys who watch WWF and the fighting channel and all, they will say this versus that, those versus that and all, they will tell. So this versus this is called. So this poem is about hard work versus laziness. Hard work represents ant here. Laziness represented cricket here, because the ant who works very hardly for its future time, now sitting under a shelter and having proper food to eat, even though it cannot come out of a particular place. But being lazy and enjoying all over the day, the foolish lazy cricket is suffering because of food and it does not have proper place to live also. So these two are portrayed very beautifully through the two animal characters. Further, next one, as you sow, so shall you reap. For this we can tell it as Vinay Vidipavan Vinay Arpan. And they'll tell many proverbs for that. So as you sow, so whatever you do today will save you in the future. That is what that described. This is for the human beings like us. It is nothing but whatever you do today, that will bring for you in the tomorrow. That is what they'll tell. Karma is a boomerang. Karma is nothing but the good things that if we do to others, no, the good things will come to us. If we think any bad for others, the bad things only will come to us. Whatever you do will always reflect. Like Newton's law, where there is a reaction, there will be an equal and opposite reaction. Like that, you'll always have an opposite reaction, whatever you do. Like a bouncing ball. If you bounce a ball, it will come back to you. No, whatever you do to the others, it will come to you. Like that, whatever you do today, that is what you are going to reap it tomorrow. If you cultivate, if you wanted to reap paddy, if you are cultivating paddy plant today, you cannot take groundnut plant. You can take only paddy plant, right? Like that, if you save for tomorrow's use today, you can sit and enjoy tomorrow. If you enjoy today, you have to suffer tomorrow. Whatever you do, you have to have an eye on the future. You should have a very foresight towards the future. It's not that you have to think all the time about future, but as so you go in the live of the present, you should always have an eye on the future so that you cannot suffer in the upcoming years. That is what portrayed through ant and the cricket. So you also start doing something for your parents from today. It's not that you need to do a big thing. A small help to your parents can also serve them, right? So do that and start predicting. Not it's not predicting. You start thinking of your future also. If you are 6th standard or 7th, 8th, whatever class you may be, you just start what you're going to do in the next term. You just remember very short-term goal and long-term goal. Short-term goal is that that can be achieved within 2 to 3 years. Long-term goal is which can be achieved in 10, 15 years. So have an eye on the future and very short eye and long eye. 2 eyes also you have it and start doing something new from today onwards. Thank you.